In the quiet town of Brookfield, Massachusetts, there stood a white building with frosted glass windows and a reputation no one could quite explain. It was called the Ashford Memory Clinic. Locals said it helped people heal from trauma. Veterans, assault victims, anyone burdened by the past. But some whispered something darker. They said once you walked in, you never remembered who you were before. That's where our story begins. It started one cold November morning, when a young journalist named Claire Danvers parked her car outside the clinic. She was 28, sharp, persistent, the kind of reporter who didn't just chase leads. She tore them open. 2 months earlier, her older brother Mark had vanished after saying he'd found something life-changing. His last text to her had been a photo, the sign of the Ashford Memory Clinic. He was never seen again. Police dismissed it as a voluntary disappearance. But Claire knew her brother. He was a therapist himself, obsessed with helping people. If he disappeared here, something was wrong. She entered under the pretense of being a patient. The receptionist smiled, too perfect, too rehearsed, and handed her a clipboard. "Welcome to Ashford," she said. "Dr. Keller will see you soon." Claire wrote down a fake name, Julia Moore. Reason for visit: persistent anxiety and intrusive memories. The receptionist nodded approvingly, then gestured toward a seat beside a small fountain that trickled endlessly. Claire could feel it already: the sterile air, the faint hum of machines behind the walls, the kind of silence that didn't belong in a healing space but in a lab. That's when she met Dr. Keller. Mid-40s, clean-cut, calm voice like a therapist, but eyes like a surgeon. Cold, assessing. "Julia, I understand you've been struggling," he said. "Here at Ashford, we believe memories can be both our prison and our cure." He explained their process: guided neural realignment. They claim to help patients selectively suppress traumatic memories using deep brain stimulation combined with targeted hypnosis. Claire nodded, pretending to be impressed, all while her recorder pen captured every word. But as she looked at the photos on his office wall, smiling patients, glowing testimonials, she noticed something odd. 2 faces repeated, same smile, different names. That's when she knew she was onto something. Over the next week, she booked 2 more sessions under the same alias. Each time, they prepared her for a procedure, but always postponed it due to readiness assessments. Claire used the delays to snoop. She found restricted corridors behind coded doors, patient records labeled with strange code names like Subject R31 and Memory Cleanse Tier 3. Her instincts screamed, this wasn't therapy, it was experimentation. She befriended a janitor named Leo, a quiet older man who'd worked there for years. One night she caught him in the hallway after hours and pressed him gently. "Leo, what do they do here?" He hesitated, glancing at the security cameras. "You shouldn't be here, miss. People come in broken, and they leave empty, that's all I'll say." When she showed him a photo of her brother, Leo froze. "Him? Yeah, I remember. He was special. They said he volunteered. But after the 3rd session, he didn't come out the same. He didn't even know his own name." Claire's breath caught. "Is he alive?" Leo shook his head slowly. "He was transferred. Level 5 containment." He handed her a small keycard. "If you really want answers, the basement. But be careful. The clinic doesn't like visitors down there." That night, Claire returned disguised in a staff uniform she'd stolen from the laundry room. The halls were silent, lit by blue emergency lights. Cameras blinked above every doorway. She used the keycard. Beep. The elevator groaned open and took her down into what the panel called B-level research. When the doors slid open, the air changed. Colder, chemical. Rows of doors lined the corridor, each marked therapeutic chamber. Inside, she saw through the glass. People lying on reclined chairs, electrodes attached to their skulls, IV lines running clear fluid. Machines blinked in rhythm with their brainwaves. And on each monitor, a name is replaced with a number. Claire's recorder was running, her hands shaking. Then she froze, because on one screen she saw Mark Danvers, subject R31. His face was pale, expression blank, staring ahead like a mannequin. She rushed to his chamber, heart pounding, whispering, "Mark, it's me. It's Claire." But his eyes didn't move. His pupils barely reacted to the light. A nurse entered from the far hallway and saw her. "You're not supposed to be here." The alarm blared. Claire ducked, ran behind the machinery, and slipped into the maintenance tunnel Leo had mentioned. She followed the tunnel until it led to a large observation room. Dr. Keller was there, standing beside a man in a gray suit, a government official by the look of him. Keller was saying, "We've perfected selective erasure. The human brain is malleable. Memories are nothing but electrical maps. We can remove guilt, grief, even loyalty." The man replied, "Then we're ready to scale it. We'll need test subjects who won't be missed." Claire's stomach turned. This wasn't therapy. It was mind control. She snapped a few photos and ducked away as Keller turned toward the noise. She escaped back through the tunnels, her recorder still running, but when she tried to leave through the elevator, her keycard failed. Keller's voice echoed through the intercom. "Miss Danvers, or should I say, Claire, did you really think we wouldn't notice? Come to my office, please. You're already inside the system. You can't leave without my help." Panic set in. The walls felt like they were closing in, the hum of machines growing louder. She ran to the stairwell, only to find 2 guards waiting. One grabbed her arm. "Dr. Keller's orders." They escorted her back upstairs, through the sterile halls, into his office. He was calm, almost kind. "You shouldn't have come here, Claire. Your brother made the same mistake. He wanted to expose us. But then he realized the truth. Pain is humanity's disease. We simply cured him." He leaned closer. "Let me show you what freedom feels like." He motioned for the guards to strap her to the neural chair. Claire fought, but the sedative burned through her veins. The last thing she heard before darkness swallowed her was Keller's whisper, "You'll thank me when you wake up." When Claire opened her eyes, she was lying in a soft bed. Sunlight streamed through the window. A nurse smiled. "Welcome back, Miss Moore. How are you feeling?" Claire blinked. The name Julia Moore felt right somehow. She couldn't remember much. Just flashes of faces, a clinic, a voice, but nothing else. Weeks passed. She attended recovery sessions, feeling strangely peaceful but hollow. Every time she tried to recall something about her life before the clinic, pain seared behind her eyes. But one night, while she slept, she dreamed. A vivid, terrifying image of a man calling her name. "Claire. Run." She woke up shaking. Her hand reached instinctively under the mattress, where her recorder was hidden. She didn't remember hiding it. When she pressed play, the device crackled. Then her own voice echoed. "This is Claire Danvers, investigative reporter, inside the Ashford Clinic. They're erasing people's memories. My brother is here. I have proof." The sound jolted her fully awake. She replayed it again, trembling. Then a second voice came on. Dr. Keller's. "She won't remember this tomorrow." Something snapped. Fragments returned. The elevator. Mark. The basement. The procedure. She stumbled to the mirror, staring at herself. "Claire," she whispered. "My name is Claire." The next morning, she pretended everything was fine. She smiled through her checkup, took her prescribed stabilizers, then pocketed them instead of swallowing. That night, she followed the same maintenance tunnel she remembered in flashes. The door still responded to the stolen keycard she'd hidden in her shoe. She returned to the basement. But this time, she wasn't running. She found the main power conduit. One lever controlled the emergency override. Next to it, a security cabinet full of patient files, hundreds of names, hundreds of erased identities. She grabbed as many as she could fit in her bag, then pulled the lever. Sirens screamed. Doors unlocked. Patients began waking, dazed and confused. Keller's voice thundered over the intercom. "Whoever's down there, stop! You're destroying years of progress." Claire ignored it. She reached Mark's chamber again. He sat upright now, blinking in confusion. "Mark," she whispered, shaking him gently. "It's me. Claire." His lips trembled. "Claire." The recognition flickered. Faint, but real. She smiled through tears. "We're leaving." The two stumbled through chaos. Staff fled, alarms blaring, lights flashing red. They burst through the main lobby as police sirens wailed outside. Leo had called them. When the officers stormed in, Keller tried to stop them, shouting about national security and classified research. But Claire handed over the recorder, the files, and one clear statement. He erased people's minds. Days later, the headlines exploded. Illegal neural experiments exposed at Massachusetts clinic. Dr. Keller and several staff members were arrested. The government disavowed any connection. The Ashford Clinic was shut down permanently. Claire recovered slowly. The neural damage took time, but her memories returned piece by piece. Her childhood, her journalism, her brother's laughter. Mark wasn't the same, but he was healing too. Sometimes he'd stare off and ask questions about things he half remembered, and Claire would fill in the blanks patiently. One evening, sitting by the window of her apartment overlooking Boston, she began writing her story. The Clinic That Erased Memories. An investigation into the cost of forgetting. It wasn't just an expose, it was a warning, because what she'd learned was simple but profound. Memory, even the painful kind, is what makes us human. To erase it is to erase the soul. She ended the article with a quote her brother once told her. Healing doesn't come from forgetting. It comes from remembering, and choosing to move forward anyway. The piece went viral. Victims' families came forward. Other hidden clinics were investigated. Laws were passed restricting neural experimentation. Ashford became a cautionary tale, the place where humanity crossed a line and was forced to face itself. Months later, Claire visited the ruins of the clinic one last time. It stood silent, boarded up, its white walls now gray with decay. She placed a single rose by the entrance, for everyone who'd lost their memories inside. As she turned to leave, she heard a faint metallic sound, a door creaking open in the wind. For a moment, it felt like the building itself exhaled, but she didn't look back. Some memories, she thought, are better faced than feared. She walked away, sunlight breaking through the clouds, knowing that this time, she'd remember everything. Memory defines identity. Erasing pain might erase who we are. True healing comes not from forgetting the past, but from understanding it. If you were given the chance to erase your most painful memory, would you take it? Or would you live with it, knowing it shaped who you are? Comment your answer below. And remember, every truth eventually surfaces, even the ones they try to erase.